to the baking recipe wars making headlines around the world now. Yep, around the world, with one of Brisbane's biggest food influencers going into crisis mode after two famed chefs accused her of plagiarising their work. Brooke Bellamy from Brookie Cookies denies the allegations, but Sydney-based Recipe Tin Eats founder Nagi Maharshi says the similarities between their caramel slices and baklavas are far too specific. An American baker also says her recipe was copied, and the food fight has led to Brooke losing a federal business ambassadorship. For their take, let's bring in Sunshine Coast Mayor Rosanna Natoli and journalist Joe Hildebrand. Good morning.
Good morning.
Rosanna, a lot of people are talking about this. A lot of people bake, they understand recipes. What do you think of it?
Well, obviously baking is big bickies today, right? So we know why everyone's really interested in this. But one thing I do know is that if you go to the supermarket to buy a tin of sweetened condensed milk, it's 395 grams. So no recipe is going to say 350 grams or 420 grams. So if you're starting with the tin and going back from there, I mean, caramel slice doesn't have that many ingredients. So I think in that case, really, we're going to start with the tin and move back. And I checked my caramel slice recipe and it wasn't too dissimilar either. So, you know, I know.
That's
just
controversial.
See, there's a difference between it being similar, because I went through and went for taste and a lot of the really common ones, and it being exactly the same. And Nagi's put them up next to each other.
That's right.
And
the
also the
measurements are
method,
incredibly
exactly the same. What do you think, Joe? Evidence of copyright infringement?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I think the first thing is that, I suppose, it's a bit like music, right? In music, so I don't understand baking, but I do understand music.
Yes.
There are 12 notes. There are only a certain number of chords that sound good together. Sooner or later, you are going to get songs that sound the same or have the same chord progression or a similar melody, and that is just going to happen. And I think, as you say, there are only a certain number of ingredients you can put into a caramel slice, and sooner or later, if there are 1,000 different caramel slices in the world, surely two of them are going to be the same. But I also think that in the age of the celebrity chef, that like the recipe is almost like a work of art. It is almost like so you do actually, I mean, they call it plagiarism. You do actually have plagiarism in the same way that, you know, a book or a piece of journalism could be plagiarised, and that is the greatest mark of shame for any writer. And I know this because but like my publisher, talk about big bickies, my publisher basically said to me, and there was one book, and trust me, I'm not spending a lot of money for them, said we basically get all our money from cookbooks. All of our money comes from cookbooks, and the money we make from that means that we are able to lose money on books like yours. And, I feel
like we need an intervention here.
Well, look, I'm seeing a therapist. I'm making real progress. It was 10 years ago,
but you're right.
There's a huge amount of money, and it could potentially go to court. It could potentially be, which seems strange for a comfort food.
It is big business, and it's hard for us to say, because Brooke says she was making the slice before it appeared in Nagi's book. There's
and fair enough.
Claims at 10 pages.
Strangely enough, I went to Kmart last night, and for the first time ever, I noticed her books are everywhere. It is a whole window. It is half the book section. It is absolutely
I know, we've had them both on. They're both huge.
She seems so nice.
And how clever, because now everyone is talking about Brookie's cookies, and so, you know, I guess
and Nagi,
that's another, both of them. That's right.
Have claims. Okay, finally, the Prime Minister has received a surprise and somewhat bizarre endorsement from Tiger King star Joe Exotic. Despite being locked up in prison over in the US, Exotic has thrown his support behind Anthony Albanese on Instagram, would you believe, hoping he may return the favour and call Trump for me. Rosanna, Joe Exotic, just to remind people, is in prison on charges of animal abuse, hiring a hitman to murder and selling tigers across state lines. What on earth is going on here?
This is where you go, thanks, but no thanks. Thanks very much, but no deal. Because the fact that he's in prison, how did he even get this communication out to us via Instagram? Is that something you're allowed in American prisons? So that was the first thing. Was it actually Joe Exotic, or was it someone parading as Joe Exotic, was the first thing that I asked. But then after that, yeah, you'd definitely be saying, thanks, Joe, but no thanks.
Joe, our Prime Minister, asked this at the National Press Club yesterday.
Yes. Finally, the questions. Finally, the press gallery is asking the questions that need to be asked of our Prime Minister. Look, there's only one Joe who's the PM needs the endorsement of, and he's sitting right here on your panel, Nat. But
Come on, tell us what you think about that. Hurry up.
But I just find it very strange that Joe seems to be sort of playing this kind of sort of trade-off game. You know, if you could talk to Donald Trump, maybe get me a discount on my sentence. I just wonder how that endorsement would go. So, okay, Albo, we've got you a great deal on your tariffs. We're going to have a great deal. You're going to have a great tariff. They're beautiful. They're the most beautiful tariffs. You're not going to have anti-tariffs. They're beautiful. And Albo goes, oh, thanks very much, Mr. President. Just one more thing.
Exactly. Mate of mine.
The fact that the other thing I can't get about Joe Exotic is that everyone always mentions the animal cruelty charges before they talk about the 2 counts of attempted murder.
He
tripped him twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
I know.
But everyone's just going, but he shouldn't have trafficked that tiger across state lines.
And he killed a couple of tigers, I think, too.
Yeah,
anyway.
and he's offering to come and work for free at one of our zoos. I mean, no thanks again.
Taronga's running away, I can tell you. Thank you. We've covered the very
big issues. Everything covered. We've got
big issues today.
Thank you. See you next week. Happy election weekend, everyone.